All right. Good morning, old school Texas Tech. Hope everyone's doing well. I always forget about it, but I'm going to try to, I'm going to remember it today. Please subscribe, like, and comment. We would really appreciate it. It would really help our channel out. Good to see you, Jordan. How you doing?
Good, man. I didn't know. I mean, as soon as we started this, I was like, who is this person across from me? You don't look like you usually do.
Yeah, I found my razor. Yeah, it turned up. So, what can I say? All right, so we're going to get into predicting the Big 12 games for it's technically week 14. I had a little confusion on that with the YouTube channel, but I think it's all been updated. Let me know if it hasn't. We have, let's see, quick calculator 79 and 31. So that's my record for the year. So we have predicted
Cheater.
100 and 110 games. You're 71 and 39. Is that right?
Sounds about right.
Yeah. 110 games.
Still right.
We both did well last week. You were one, two, three, four, five, six. You were 6 and 2. I was 7 and 1. The one difference was the Arizona State game out in Tempe.
Yeah, they
So,
keep on winning, don't they? They've
yeah.
had a very quiet 9-win season. I'll leave it at that.
Have you ever been to a game in Tempe?
I'm not.
I have, and I think it's one of the more underrated, out of the place. And you've been to more college football stadiums than I have, but I thought it was like almost like a night game at LSU. I thought it was a really underrated environment. So that's. But I guess they played more like a late afternoon, early evening. All right, so I promised I was going to let you go first this week. I'm gonna let you go first.
Well, I think you mean by you go first and pick, right?
You want me to pick first?
Yeah, I don't care. I'm
No,
good.
no, no. That's what I meant. That's what I meant. Yeah, I'm gonna
I'm
go
good with that.
first.
I don't care either
I'm
way.
gonna go first, and then you can come after me. I've already made my picks, so that way, because we've done it the other way most of the season. All right, so I'm gonna the first game that shows up on my schedule because of the games today, Friday, the 29th, is Oklahoma State at Colorado. The line on this game, I will say, is shocking to me a little bit, considering how explosive Oklahoma State was against us last week. But we have a bad defense, so I guess I kind of get it. But Colorado's favored by 16. I'm going to take Colorado to win this game just because they have so much on the line. I think last week, as we talked about in this video, some of the distractions got to them, so I think they're going to be ready to play today. Second game, this one doesn't really matter at all. Neither team has a chance at bowl eligibility. It's Utah at Central Florida. Central Florida is a 10-point favorite. I'm going to take Central Florida to beat Utah. Then we go to the Saturday games. We have the early game, which I can't emphasize enough. I wish it was the night game, but it's not. We have the early kick, and I'm going to take Tech to win. Talk more about that in a bit. Kansas at Baylor. Kansas needs to win to become bowl eligible. They are playing really good. So I am going to pick Kansas to beat Baylor on the road. That's a 1 point spread. Kansas is favored by one, actually. I know this is a huge rivalry game, Arizona State at Arizona. I don't know much about the rivalry, but I know it's an important game. It is being played in Tucson, but I'm going to take Arizona State to win. Vegas seems to agree with me. They've got it at an 8.5 point spread. TCU at Cincinnati. TCU is favored by 3.5 in this game. But I actually think Cincinnati, because they're playing for bowl eligibility, and it's going to be a night game. That place is probably going to be pretty hyped up because they weren't even close to a bowl game last year. So I'm going to pick an upset here, and I'm going to take Cincinnati. They burned me most of the year, but I felt like they played really well against us. But a lot of teams have played really well against us this year. So anyway, then we've got Kansas State at Iowa State. I really like Kansas State and I rarely pick against them, but I just think with everything on the line, I got to go Iowa State at home. And then Houston's going to be playing up in Provo. BYU's still got a lot on the line as well. So I'm going to take BYU in that game. So I've got BYU, Iowa State, Cincinnati, Arizona State, Kansas Tech, Central Florida, and Colorado. To wind it out, as far as all these tiebreakers and everything, I have no idea how it's going to sort itself out. So we'll see.
Well, that's the $10 million question because I looked at it before and it looks like we have a log jam potentially coming. So
Yeah, I think Tech has like a 3.9% chance to get in or something. And then the guy, I watched the cross podcast between Chris Lovell and the guy from West Virginia on the another competing podcast type program, and the West Virginia guys even have like a really small chance. I think it's less than our chance to get in. So anyway, I'll let you go with your picks now. We'll start with, what do you think, Oklahoma, Colorado, here just in a few hours.
Oklahoma State, yeah, I think. I mean, Colorado's going to be pissed off after what happened last week. They kind of they they got caught with their pants down. So Oklahoma State, we saw how bad they are. So I think Colorado's going to roll them, to be honest.
Okay. Utah, Central Florida, and Orlando.
I mean, I think the home team, Utah has just been in a free fall all year. I see Central Florida kind of. I think that 10 point spread is too much, though. I think that's more of like a 3 point or 4 point spread. So I'm going to take Central Florida in that one as well.
Okay, then obviously we're going to talk more about it here in a second, but West Virginia and at Tech.
I think we're going to win this one. I mean, I think, honestly, I think we're going to play one of our best games of the year. It's the final game of the season. We have a chance to win 8 games that we have not done in the regular season since 2009. So I think Tech gets it done.
Okay. Then we've got Kansas playing in Waco against Baylor.
Baylor's been on a hot streak, man. They've won 5 in a row. Kansas, I mean, I think Kansas has beaten 3 ranked teams in a row too, though. So one of these two streaks is going to end, and I'm leaning. I'm actually going to say that I will take Baylor. You said Kansas favored by 1. I'm going to take Baylor for the upset, even though I don't know that you'd call that an upset. I think Baylor's got just enough to get them over the finish line to finish them off.
Okay. And then the rivalry game, Arizona State at Arizona.
I mean, these are two programs going in completely different directions, man. Arizona State's been playing good ball. Like I said, they're the quietest 9-2 team. I was shocked to even see that they were 9-2. I was like, wow, doesn't even feel like that at all. They have an outside shot to play for the Big 12 title. Arizona's in a free fall. I think Arizona State is the logical. Although I know rivalries, games like this, records go out the window, but I think Arizona State's just too good for them.
Okay. All right, then TCU at Cincinnati Saturday night.
I'm going to pick against you on this one. I think TCU is looking to further their season, and I think Cincinnati just doesn't look. They look different than what came in. I mean, when I saw them come to Lubbock, they looked like a pretty good team, but then we're realizing how good our defense really was in that one. So I'm taking TCU for the win.
Okay. Then Kansas State at Iowa State, 2 ranked teams.
This is a tough one. This is a tough one because I've seen what Iowa State has done at home. They were undefeated, and we went in there and nipped them. And then I think they lost to Kansas too. I don't remember where that one was at. This is as much of a coin toss as any game on the slate, but I think at home I'm going to take Iowa State to get their act together. They have a lot on the line, but I guess Kansas State does too. Although Kansas State, I think, has one more loss, don't they?
Yeah, they have like Tech. They've got a small percentage to get in, but they're yeah. I don't even know. I don't even want to dive into all the tiebreakers. There's so many of them at this point. So you're taking Iowa State?
I'm going to take Iowa State. I put by a field goal.
Okay. Yeah, the spread on that game's 2.5. Iowa State's a 2.5.
Makes sense. Makes
Houston,
sense.
Houston, I mean, I mean, we say every one, almost every one of these games is a coin toss because I mean, Houston has pulled off some bizarre upsets this year too, but Houston at BYU.
I mean, I'll take BYU, even though they've been losing lately. Houston's been kind of a giant killer, but I think they won a couple big ones. Then they came back the next week and then they only scored a field goal against somebody. So who
Yeah,
knows what team is going to show up, man?
right, right. Okay, good deal. Anything else you want to discuss about this week's Big 12 slate?
No, there's only one game on there that's super important.
Yeah, it's super important to me. I think it's super important to our program, and I think it's going to be it. I think it's gonna it's just a really big game. I think that there could be some staff changes, and I think it could be some of those staff changes could be dependent on how we do tomorrow. I'm not sure of that, but I've heard some different things. So we'll see what happens. I put a little on our group. I put a little question on there. Please be respectful, everyone, but yeah, chime in on what you think about pending staff changes. It's definitely being talked about all over Red Raider Nation this week. Maybe nothing will happen. Maybe we'll come out and do really well. And when I say staff changes, I mean nobody's talking about like a head coaching change, but more along the lines of the assistant coaches.
Yeah, that's fair. I haven't seen. I'll look at that questionnaire too. I have my opinions of that.
Yeah, yeah. And as long as they're respectful, go ahead and post them on there. We'd love to see it. We'd love to hear your opinion on it. All right, everyone, have a great day, and we'll have a good weekend watching these games.
Thanks, everybody.